to East London, and I'm joined now by our reporter there, Aviwe Mtila. Aviwe, before you tell me about the day, I just want to ask you about the story that came through from the IEC at lunchtime during their briefing, and they spoke about a number of areas, I think it was 19 areas in the Eastern Cape, where disgruntled residents were digging trenches to prevent IEC officials access to the buildings to open up voting stations. Apparently those trenches were eventually filled in, but this is quite a bizarre story, and I understand that you do have some more information about that, so please tell me all about it.
A bizarre story that coincidentally, Sally, I touched on with the provincial electoral officer in the early hours of the morning, Kayakazi Makudumana, here in East London. That's even before the voting actually happened. It's one of the first things that we spoke about in the morning. She telling me about the trenches that were dug up and roads that were barricaded going to the voting areas. The impacted areas were Port St. John's, Ntabankulu, Mzimvubu, Matatiela, the Winnie Mandela, Matikizela area, among some of the communities that were impacted. Understanding that more than 20 voting stations were closed or started later on in the day as the IEC scrambled to get those roads fixed. We do understand, of course, this is around service delivery issues that have been boiling in those communities, and the communities resorting to not even wanting the voting to commence before those service delivery issues were touched on. But it is, of course, something that will catch up with the IEC as they plan to hold a media briefing in the Eastern Cape, in the East London Results Centre, ICC, at about 8 p.m. So those are one of the issues that we'll touch on. But currently, Sally, there's another boiling issue here where I am at Cambridge West. In fact, I want to catch up with Mary Vessels, one of the residents that said she hasn't had a chance to vote as yet. Mary, thank you for joining us at eNCA, but tell us about what's happening. I understand it's not only you, but the family of the Vessels.
Yes, there were 5 of us who came to register on registration weekend. Only one of those 5 was on the voters' roll. The other 4 got shown away today. I have been calling and talking to people and trying to get to vote today. It's my basic right to vote.
What are they saying to you when you talk to them? What's the IEC saying, or who have you spoken to about this issue?
I've spoken to the IEC people here. I've spoken to ward councillors. I phoned a helpline office. They even gave me the number of NOMSA, apparently somebody high up at the IEC, who the number just says the phone doesn't exist. Nobody can help me to find out why my name is not on the voters' roll, why my mother, my aunt and my son's names are not on the voters' roll while we registered in the very same office that people are voting in now.
You were telling me earlier that you were here as early as 10 a.m. You've been coming and going. Yes. What are the other issues? Are you the only family that's having this problem?
No, I've come across other people here who also registered here but can't vote for various reasons. They registered them miles away or tell them they're not old enough while they are. There's lots of people that can't vote because there's something wrong with the registration at the IEC.
And voting today closes at 9 p.m. Just your concerns if you're not even given that opportunity to vote.
I will vote one way or another. If not today, tomorrow or the day after that, it's my right to vote.
Okay, Mary Vessels, one of 5 family members essentially that registered on the registration weekend, but 4 of them haven't had the opportunity to vote. Coincidentally, Sally, this is another issue. Just on my WhatsApp about an hour ago, speaking to my source in Eldorado Park, miles away in Gauteng, in fact, telling me that they're facing a similar issue in Eldorado Park. There are community members that have registered to vote. In fact, she checked herself because she was allowed to vote, checked the IEC system and saw that they registered in Eldorado Park, but for some reason they're being turned away at the voting station. We understand with Mary Vessel saying that she's been told they're not registered, but while having come on that registration weekend. She's feeling quite sore. You heard her herself being denied that right to cast her vote in the local government elections.
And just what are local authorities saying? Are they acknowledging that it is a glitch perhaps with the printed voters roll? Because it seems like Mary has got proof that she did indeed register.
Yes, she certainly said she has got proof. In fact, I've been reading up on this on the local newspaper, saying that there were suggestions that there are glitches on this online registration system, but there are suspicions that then, while it was supposed to be done manually, it wasn't in fact done. Hence, the likes of Mary Vessels here are facing these problems that they're facing now. Of course, at that IEC briefing expected at 8 p.m. At the Results Centre in East London, it's one of those issues that will be questioning quite pointedly as to exactly what is happening, because it seems not to be only a provincial issue, but a national issue, according to sources that I've spoken to that are in Gauteng.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Aviwe Mtila, coming to us from East London. And it certainly seems like from the queues behind him that there are a lot of people still waiting to cast their ballots. So it does suggest that there will be lots of voting taking place this evening.